A few weeks ago, I started a habit that changed almost every aspect of my life. This one habit improved my focus, my productivity, my self-discipline, my health, even my finances. And the crazy part is, you do not have to buy anything to start this habit. It doesn't require any motivation, it doesn't require to follow some complicated routine. In fact, this habit requires little to no effort. Yet, it helped me save money, improve my focus, improve my self control, and lose weight. I know it sounds too good to be true, but after trying it myself, I understood why many swear by it. But before I tell you this habit, let me tell you how my typical day looked like. I would wake up, brush my teeth, take a shower, have breakfast, then I would head off to the office. At the office, I would usually make some coffee and grab some snacks, then start working. And then it would be lunchtime. I would go out with my friends to the nearest restaurant and have a meal from there. After the meal, we'd head back to the office. Usually, that's where my day just goes downhill from there. I would feel sluggish after the meal, so I would be at the office just dragging time, waiting to clock out. And when I clock out, I would go to the gym. Well, usually it just depends on how I felt that day. If I had enough motivation for gym, then I would go to the gym. If I didn't, then I would just skip gym and go home. Then at home, I would prepare supper, have my supper, and probably just watch something, then sleep. That was my typical day before I started this one habit. So, the one habit that changed my life was intermittent fasting. And before you click away thinking this is another diet video, hear me out. Because intermittent fasting isn't really a diet. It's simply a decision about when to eat and when not to eat. At first, I was skeptical. Skipping meals sounded unhealthy. I assumed I would be hungry the whole day. I thought my energy would crash. But what actually happened was exactly the opposite. And that's when I realized something important. A lot of what we believe about hunger isn't necessarily true. In this video, I will show you how to build this habit in your daily routine so you can start reaping its benefits. What is intermittent fasting? Basically, it's an eating pattern that is scheduled between periods of eating and long periods of not eating. By extending the period your body goes without food, you shift your system to burning stored fat for energy. I will not dive into the science as there are plenty of YouTube videos explaining this in details. I will just give you the benefits I experienced and how I built this habit into my own life. The first benefit I experienced was more energy and improved focus. Like I explained earlier about my typical day, now I skip breakfast and lunch. I also stopped having snacks and would just take black coffee without sugar or sweetener. I will be honest, at first few days were not easy. My body was used to eating at certain times. So when those times arrived, I felt very hungry. But a few days, something happened that was interesting. I realized hunger wasn't constant. It came in waves. A craving would appear, I would drink some water and keep working, and 20 minutes later, the feeling would disappear. That was a huge realization because for most of my life, I treated hunger as an emergency. Fasting taught me it wasn't. And once I learned the lesson, everything else became easier. I felt more lighter, more alert, more focused. Instead of constantly thinking about the next meal or what snacks I can eat to boost my energy, I would now focus on the work in front of me. I wasn't riding a roller coaster of hunger, snacks, sugar crashes, and cravings. My energy became more stable, and stable energy is more valuable than short bursts of energy. The second benefit I feel people rarely talk about is saving money. Intermittent fasting accidentally reduced my spending. I stopped buying random snacks, energy drinks, even lunch. Individually, these purchases seem small, but over weeks and months, they do add up. When I started fasting, many of these purchases disappeared automatically. My wallet was getting a break. I became more intentional with what I ate. Without trying, I was spending less money every week. The habit was improving my health and my finances at the same time. That's a rare combination. The third benefit is weight loss. Now, I want to be clear, intermittent fasting is not magic. You can still gain weight if you eat excessively in the eating period. But fasting made it easier to eat less because I wasn't constantly thinking about food. I wasn't counting every calorie. I wasn't following some complicated meal plan. I simply had fewer opportunities to eat. And over time, that created a calorie deficit naturally. So the weight started coming off, not rapidly, not dramatically, but steadily. And steady progress is often the kind that lasts. The fourth benefit is discipline. Every day during a fast, I would hear a small voice saying, just eat something, one snack won't hurt, or start tomorrow. And every time I would resist that urge, which strengthens something important, my ability to control myself. And as you know, on this channel, we talk about philosophy and self mastery. Just like the Stoics believed, freedom comes from self mastery and not being controlled by your desires. So, sitting with discomfort without immediately reacting to it makes you stronger. Intermittent fasting became more than just an eating strategy, it became a daily exercise in self control, a small habit that has improved many areas of my life. A quick word of caution: if you're currently on medication, please don't jump on this habit yet. Talk to your doctor and make sure it's safe for you because it does have some side effects. I usually experience a headache and dizziness if I haven't taken enough water. I found out that this is because the hormone insulin drops during fasting, which causes the kidney to excrete excess salt and water. So, you're advised to drink a lot of water with a pinch of salt. You can watch Dr. Jason Fang here on YouTube. He dives deeper and gives you the science behind the practice. Otherwise, if I had to choose one habit that has impacted my life, intermittent fasting would be near the top of the list. Not because it's perfect, because it has taught me something valuable. You don't need to obey every craving. You don't need to respond to every impulse. And that realization has influenced every area of my life. Now I'm more focused, I'm spending less than before, my health is better, and I have greater discipline, all from one simple habit. If you enjoyed this, subscribe for more philosophy and self mastery.